Hello, everybody. Just getting set up here. All right. Happy Tuesday. Man, it's already Tuesday, which is a good thing because I feel like these days I need to go a little bit slower. I can't, everything's just moving so quickly these days. Um, I just feel like I can't keep up. But I'm glad it's starting to get warmer out there. I hope this is inspiring you to get out there and run. I know it has been for me. I mean, just naturally, when it gets warmer, my speed picks up and um, getting a little bit winded out there as I run faster during these days, really enjoying um, getting out there and running in this weather. So today I thought I would talk about a little bit about what this channel is about, who I am as a coach. And if you have any questions about walking or running, please leave a message. Um, and I will take note of that in the chat and I will either interrupt what I'm talking about and answer the question, or maybe I'll wait till the end. Either way, I will answer your questions. More importantly, if I do not get to your question, I will either put a response in the comment below, or if I feel like it's a great question, which most questions are, I will either do a new go live and mention that topic and address that topic, or maybe I'll just put a new video out there to out on the channel so that everybody can take advantage of the question. So anytime during this, please feel free to leave a message, and I'm waiting for those to come through. Yeah, so please leave a comment for any question related to running and walking, and I will respond to those. So let me get into what this channel is about, or maybe I should get into who I am first. Um, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my background, and I'm not trying to gloat or anything. I just want you to know where I come from so that you understand why I decided to get into coaching and share the knowledge that I have about running. And running is just such a passion of mine. And that's why, first of all, that's why I want to help everybody with their questions and give you as many tips as possible on running. And really, that's what this channel is dedicated to, is either helping people get started in running, or wherever you are in your training, to help you get to that next level. And why do I have the feeling I could do such a thing? I have a pretty good background in running, meaning I started off actually when I was a little kid and loved running, competed against anybody I possibly could, but that doesn't really qualify me as a coach today. What really got me going was in grammar school. I had decided to really run and try out for this after school program. And my eighth grade teacher, I remember to this day, it sunk in my heart, told me that I should look at doing something else in my life. And that struck me, like, why would a teacher ever tell a student that they should give up on running and try some other endeavor? So that stuck with me. I did leave running, actually. That hurt me pretty badly. And I get into high school, to fast forward, and I got cut from the soccer team. Very devastated because soccer was a big thing in my family. So then I decided in a new school I met a friend and they said, "Hey, why don't you try out for track?" So I tried out for track, and that didn't go so well. I started off in sprinting, and the coach kind of pulled me aside and said, "Hey, we're sorry, sprinting's not for you." And I said, "Oh man." And he said, "You could try out for the distance team." And flashback back to grammar school, my heart sunk and said, "Oh my gosh, what is going on here? I can't make the soccer team. I'm not good at running. What am I doing? And I thought I was really good at sports, actually. So eventually, what ended up happening was I said, I can't get cut from another team. So I tried out for the distance team. And first day, 5 miles, 5 miles. Let me tell you, that was a horrific, horrific um, moment in my time, but I was bound and determined not to get cut from a team. So the next day, this short story here, the next day, I try to get out of my bed, and what happens? I collapse. My legs didn't want to work. And I said, okay, come on, we can get through this. We can get through school. So eventually, and remind you, I knew nothing about running. I didn't have long distance running shoes. I just had my like, I don't know if you back in the day we had these shoes called Skippy shoes. Not sure if that's what they're called now, but there was nothing to the shoe whatsoever. But I tried out for it anyways, and the next day I was like, okay, 5 miles has to be the worst of it. Well, no. I mean, it wasn't 5 miles again, it was 3 miles, but my legs said, hey, no way. But I said, we can't get cut. So I don't know if the coaches had compassion, they liked my ambition, whatever it was, somehow I stuck to it and I made the team. And I wish the story ended there. So I don't know what I was thinking because once I got cut from, made the team, um, I stayed in the back. And probably that was because I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm hanging out in the back with this group and we're the slowest runners. And hey, I was happy I made the team, right? Um, Eat that eighth grade grammar school teacher. Uh, but I stuck with it and I started running. Then one day, me and a group of others and myself, we went running and we took a shortcut. We were supposed to run 5 miles, but we took the shortcut and ran 3 miles. And I remember as we were going through this street to connect to where the others were going to run, because we weren't supposed to run the shorter loop, this guy comes flying by. I mean, absolutely flying in my eyes. I was like, whoa, who's this guy? Is he part of the team? And the group said, oh yeah, you don't know him? And I'm not going to mention his name, but I uh, I said, no, I don't. They're like, he's the fastest runner on our team. I'm like, what? How did he get through 5 miles or, get through and we're chopping off at least 2 miles to the loop and this guy's already passing us. Um, and I said, what is this? And so I remember clearly trying the next day, trying to keep up with this guy. Not even close. I was not even close. I don't even know why I wanted to do it. But anyways, every day I tried running to keep up with this guy and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Um, but uh, at least I should say at the beginning. As the season progressed in track, and this was outdoor track at the time, and the season progressed, I was eventually able to get closer to him, close enough actually for him to hear my running, meaning he actually slowed down to back up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm keeping up with him. Nope, that wasn't the deal. He said, hey, I can hear you running from all the way up there. You're running too heavy. You got to be lighter on your feet. And I said, oh, thank you. And then he took off. What? So I guess that's what I worked on for quite some time. Fast forward, this guy was my inspiration. I wanted to run faster. And the following year, so now I'm into my sophomore year in high school, I decided to try out for cross country. Oh my gosh. Different, complete animal, breed, whatever you want to call it. It was a new world compared to track. Track was very exciting. A lot of people doing lots of things, love track. But man, cross country, get in there. and it's just different. I mean, you're running over hills, you're running through mud puddles and everything. Just a different experience, and I was hooked. I mean, I took to that like so well. Unfortunately, that was the last year of that runner, so I never got to continue my, I guess you could call it mentorship. Um, although he he was still running by himself. But I remember running cross country, and if you've ever run cross country, it is amazing. You get up to that line, and it's just different from track. I mean, you look to your right, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of people lined up to your right. You look to your left, there's hundreds more people lined up on your left. And you're like, whoa, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people doing cross country. And then you look forward, and in the first one of the courses, I guess popular courses that a lot of people ran in my area in New England, was at Derryfield Park in Manchester, New Hampshire. And it starts off on a hill and it funnels. And you're thinking to yourself, if you've never run cross country before, you're like, how are all we going to fit into that funnel up there um, and survive? And then I mean, the start of a cross country race is awesome. And I'll never forget it because you sit there in anticipation, and a guy or girl who's holding the gun has all the control of when that's going to go off. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to go off. And when? Because they blow the whistle or whatever it is. At in this particular race, my first race, they blew the whistle, they pause, then they blew a long whistle, and you're like, are we going to go yet? And then they hold up the gun, and then they pause, and you're like, now your heart's like pumping, like really hard. It's pumping, and the adrenaline's going, and then they hit that gun, and then you're gone, you're off. And it's like earthquake, a semi earthquake. As everybody's running, you can hear the thunder of the feet around you, and going up this hill, everybody is trying to plow through. um, that was the last time I ever ran straight through, because I learned better to stick to the side. And while everybody's trying to funnel this way, I was always actually running out to the left or to the right, because everybody was going in. And so I would jet out as fast as I could and get to the side so I was not trampled, because there are a lot of elbows, not something you necessarily see in track. Anyways, I love the sport, tried so hard. In my sophomore year, I made a junior varsity team, and I just tried really hard and I worked hard. I put in so much effort. Fast forward to junior year, I was third on the team, and ran lots of races. I um, ended up our team ended up being nationally ranked 22nd in the nation. So of all the high school teams in the United States, um, my team was ranked 22nd, and I was third on the team. And we had a very close competitor to us on a neighbor school. And man, we pushed each other. We had on both schools, my sophomore year, we had nationally ranked. They went 1 and 2 at nationals, at Foot Locker Nationals. So my area was pretty competitive. I'm not going to discount any other areas, but for um, my area at that time, it was very competitive. And the team was competitive. My team was very competitive. We were a close knit team. Needless to say, as I progressed through my running and improved and got addicted to cross country, I ended up becoming eighth in the state for New Hampshire, which was quite an accomplishment. It was not easy, but I loved it. And then I got into college. I competed in college as well, not for a nationally ranked school, but I ended up in Division 2. Um, I almost didn't make it into college, but fortunately, my running got me in there. So I ended up going to college, and I did pretty good there too. I just was mentally not as strong as I should have been, to be honest. If I were to reflect now where I am in my running and looking back then, I could have been even so much better than what I was in high school and college. I thought I was good. But man, the knowledge that I have today, if I could have applied it back then, I would have just been a different animal, a different runner. Um, so then through college, I did compete. I almost made it to regional. I made it to regionals. I just never made it to nationals. You had to be the top. I think it was like top 8 or top 10. And for whatever reason, mentally, I checked out and didn't really do good um, at the end of the season. Fast forward through life, whew, man, I was off and on with running. Still loved running, but just life just sucked me away, and I regret it, to be honest. But now here I am, in a new chapter of my life. 2017 is when I started really getting back into it, and I decided, okay, let me get back into running. It's something I love to do. And I remember running my first race, and it was a 5K. And oh my gosh, want to talk about being smacked down, literally smacked down, like humbled, uh, ripped apart. I was running, and man, I thought I was going to do good. Nope. I got smacked down. I was beat by 13-year-olds, 90-year-olds, you name it. I was getting crushed. And normally that wouldn't be a problem. But for me, being the competitive person where I came from, my background, I just couldn't understand how a 13-year-old or a 90-year-old could beat me. And I'm not lying when I looked at that, the stats they give you, the ages of everybody. Okay, maybe the guy wasn't 90 years old. I'm exaggerating on that, but you get the gist. But definitely the 13-year-olds were beating me. That I was very clear about. Um, so I said, "Oh my gosh, I have so much to get back." But it wasn't like the old days when I was running high school and college. High school and college, I could take several months off and come back and run 5 30-minute miles, run a 16-minute 5K. It was no problem for me. But new life, new era, I guess for me. My body didn't bounce back as good as it did. So what did I do? I decided to get serious about running. I got back into it, but I had to have a different mindset, totally different way of approaching it. So that brings me to where I am today. Uh, I guess if you wanted to know that time frame, 2017 ran my first 5K, really competitive. Coming back, I didn't do so well. 2018, same thing, didn't do so well. It was probably around 2019 when things started shifting for me, when I really started learning. I guess you could say 2017, 2018, I was neglecting where I was in my life as a runner and wanted to not believe where I was, that I just could go out there and run and just get my times back, but it wasn't happening. So after some humble pie, I get to 2018 and I said, okay, let me get a plan. So I developed a plan, really focused on my running, and then I started dropping my times really quickly. And then 2019, same thing. Then 2020, I decided that I was going to try for a half marathon. I just wanted to see if I could do something different and see maybe getting into the half marathon world would be something different for me. So I tried it. 2020, I ran my first half marathon. My goal was to just finish. That was it. That was my goal. Just finish a half marathon. Through some injuries and everything else, as I started learning um, and really learning my body as an individual, uh, I ended up pretty good. I mean, not the best, but I would have to say I think I was in the top 200 out of thousands of runners, and I was pretty happy with that. But what struck me, oh, my competitiveness. My competitiveness always gets me because when I looked at the stats, and I shouldn't have, but I had to, I saw my age group. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm close to the top of my age group. So guess what? Things clicked. I became competitive again, super competitive. So much so that I wanted to be the number one person in my area or race in my age group. That was my goal. And that took me to a whole new level of understanding of running, mental, and putting those together. And that's where I am today. And what I know now and what I've gone through, injuries, understanding how injuries work, and reflecting back over all the many races that I've done through my life to where I am now. I'm just in a different spot. I'm just in a different place. And if I could take my mentality and bring it back to where I was, high school and college, I just would have been a different runner. And what did I learn? Fundamentals. And it sounds funny, but, or maybe not realistic, but the fundamentals, I mean, when I ran, I was just told to go do mile repeats. Well, what does that even mean? Like, how does that even comprehend to what I'm trying to accomplish as a time? Like, for instance, my coach would say, okay, go out there and run mile repeats. We're going to do 4 mile repeats. You have a half mile rest period, and try to do it at this time. Maybe at that time it was 5 minute miles. Well, what does that even mean? Like, how does 5 minutes relate to what I want to accomplish as a goal? And I realized my goal in high school and college was not necessarily time, it was to beat people, to race other people, to get the team to number one, to get that trophy, that medal. And it was never, it was about you as an individual because you had to run as an individual, but it was team orientated. And it was always focused on, okay, you're around this area, just make sure to beat that guy. Or if you can, go get that guy. And you are unlimited in your thought, at least in my case. It was like when I went out there, when I towed the line, when I got to that line, my goal was always to come in first. It was never I thought I was going to come in 20th or anything like that. It was you just go out there and you take out as many people as you can and cross that finish line as fast as you can. Then you looked at your time and you said, oh, I ran 16:30. Okay, that's good. Next time I want to try to hit 16 minutes, but that wasn't your focus. Your focus was beating somebody. And that was my mindset going into half marathon training, even at the, you know, beating the number one people. But what I learned was it's not the people are there to assist you. Like, for instance, even though there are age people in my age bracket that are faster than me, they're good beacons, and they can help motivate you to go out there and push you, but you have to run your own race. And when I started focusing on my own race, my own times, and figuring out, okay, I want to run uh, 6 minute miles now for a 5K. That's my next goal, 6 minute miles for a 5K. What does that look like in training? How do you even get there? Like, if I ran this time for a long distance run, is that getting me to a 6 minute mile? I started asking these questions as I was training myself. And I come to figure out that there's actually a formula to figuring out. Um, I mean, it's not exact, it's different for individuals. But what I found out is that there is a correlation between what you're doing in practices, why practice if there isn't, to your racing. But what is it? You know? So if you're running hill workouts, what is it actually doing? If you're doing interval training, what is it actually doing? And more importantly, is it taking you closer to your goal? And as I was analyzing, testing, and trying things out, I got into injuries, pushing myself to the limit. I was doing a whole bunch of things. And in the end, what did I find out? I found out this. I found out that we're all individualistic. As I was researching, looking at groups, jumping in chat groups and everything and listen to what people were talking about and understanding the world, and what their problems were and what I faced in all the races that I've done. from past to present, I was putting all the pieces together. And finally, it came to me the fundamentals. We're missing the fundamentals. Um, Form running, understanding form. Why is it important that you run on the middle of your foot, or maybe your heel is raised a little bit? What exercises are important to get you to that point versus a heel runner? Was I heel running? What was my stride like? Uh, all these things started like coming in, and I started asking questions, looking at people, looking at the responses. And then I decided at 2020 I was going to become a lifelong learner. And when I asked for to become a lifelong learner, guess what? Life came back at me and said, "Okay, here you go. Here's your first lesson, major lesson." I was going for a new personal best in running in the half marathon. And here I go. I'm out there. I'm training, um, applying new techniques, new theories, new point of views. And then 2021, I get to my middle of the season, I get injured. I got injured, and I only had, I think it was, I had maybe 5 months to get back into um, mode in order to get to my personal best. And at that time, I wasn't even at the point I needed to be at my personal best, because at this point, what I figured out in my running is what who I needed to be in my running in order to hit the target I was going for. So I knew I was not at the times that I needed to be in my practices, my everyday practice, to get to the time that I needed. So I was already behind, and then I got injured. I tore a hamstring muscle. It was not my hamstring, I'm sorry, my quad muscle. And I said, "Oh my gosh, my season's over." And I said, "But you know what? I need to take this opportunity and learn from it." And that's what I did. My life learning of running kicked in, popped in, and I said, "Okay, here I go. I'm doing it. Let's see what I can do." And that's when I came up with the IRP, injury running plan. And my goodness, with that mindset and going into it, letting go of everything I knew, and just follow what life was going to teach me for the next 3 months. It was 3 months before I got out of injury. And I got out of injury, but with the IRP plan that I developed, or what I call now an IRP, at that time it was just recovery. I had 2 months left to get back to training to hit my personal best in the half marathon. And I took everything that I accumulated. So getting through that injury period actually was one of the first steps. I came out the other side with still a lot of health left in me. And I'm telling you, I was walking, and I was walk running. I wasn't even running, and I was running. So I wanted to hit 6:30 minutes for each mile. At that time when I was running at 7:30s before I got injured. When I came out of injury, I was running 8-minute miles. So I had to make up a gap of 1.5 minutes per mile, which is a big gap, huge gap, um, in only 2 months. And I didn't get to the 6:30, but I still got a personal best, because what I ended up doing was applying everything else I knew from college, high school, competitive running, my new body, my new age, where I was in my age, and how to efficiently grow and get to where I needed to be. I did not get to my 6:30 pace, but what I ended up getting to was 6:50. So the prior year, my PR in the half mile or half marathon was 7 minutes and 30 seconds per mile. The following year, I dropped it down, even after the injury, to 6:50 per mile. And that's when everything started even more unlocking, and I became hungry to learn more. So that's me as a coach. So I've come a long way. I know a lot of things now. Do I know everything? Nope, because I've become a lifelong learner. and new technology comes out, and people surprise me all the time in what they learn and what they know. And to be honest, I guess this transitions into the um, to the channel. What this channel is about is taking the knowledge that I've learned and sharing it with you. But I'm not so much as to say everything I say or teach you is final, because I'm learning all the time. And to be honest, I don't just rely on me. I do look at other running channels on YouTube. I do watch what other people post out there, and I watch those videos because there is so much information out there in this world today. There is so much changing. I mean, if you think about running, there's so many categories. You have nutrition, you have strength training, you have your form running, you have, you know, training itself. You have distance, you have speed. Within speed, you have different workouts, and new technology comes out with, things like goo and all these things. There's so many different things out there, and for me to sit in front of a camera and tell you that I know everything about running, um, I don't. And what I found even more fascinating is my studies is based on my experience up to this point, but as I learn and go out to groups and watch different channels and do some reading, um, it becomes my knowledge base. So I share what I know and what I learn, but maybe tomorrow will be different. But what I can tell you is that this channel is dedicated to bringing you the knowledge that you want to learn, and tips that you could want for running. Let me know, because I'm learning what interests me at the moment in time and to help me better my running. But at the same time, I want to know what interests you, because at the end of the day, I'm on the path that I want to learn, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to share with you. But at the end of the day, I'm here to serve you, because why have a channel? Why have Instagram, Facebook, all the different social, TikTok, all the social media that I'm on? Why be on there? Um, I mean, yeah, I could share. I mean, I have to say, the all of you out there are amazing people, amazing runners, amazing inspirators, and I could easily just take that and just run and go with that. But there's this deep passion within me to express what I'm doing and learning, and to communicate and to build a community. And that's where journey runners come into play. If you notice, every video, I always start with saying, "Hello, journey runners," or "Fellow journey runners," because for me, we're all on a running journey together, and I want to share that with you, and I want to share that knowledge with you in a community that we can, just be a part of. One of my most favorite things besides running in high school and college was the camaraderie, the team, and just being with other people who are passionate about what you're passionate about, to be inspiration to each other, to take each other to that next level. I'm going to give you tips and everything and help you on your running journey. But man, a community just takes it to that next level, to know that there are people who care about you, who want to uplift you and take you to your goals. That's what I want to build. So, yeah, this channel and all the social media, I want to give you tips and everything, but I also want to build a team. And I do have a Facebook group out there, called Journey Runners, that is slowly building up. And I say slowly, um, but it's dedicated to growing that community of runners who are interested in learning and building each other up. And so the point right now is YouTube and all the other social media platforms I'm on, is to provide you information and training. Um, So this channel right now has been mainly focused, I have to admit, on getting people started in running. And on Instagram, and New Year's Day, I proclaimed in a video that my goal for 2021, and this is going to sound corny, I'll have to admit right away, my goal for 2021 is to get as many people to run. Yeah, that's how corny I am and can be sometimes. So yeah, so I'm almost done that complete program. It's you'll see the playlist called Beginners Program, and I have 16, almost 16. We're still in the middle of that journey of getting people to start from 1 minute walking all the way to 30 minutes of running. And it's all free. It's free for at least for 2021. I'm thinking 2022 as well. I want people to get into running. I'm biased, of course, but for me, there is nothing more awesome. And my English is going bad right now. There is nothing more awesome than going out there and running and feeling that air, that your heart just pounding, sucking in that oxygen, and feeling your legs saying, "Hey, I'm alive. I'm out here. I'm out there, you know, pushing myself, making a difference for myself, inspiring you, inspiring me, and you know, just there's and that's why I'm so passionate about running. To me, as an individual, for me, there's nothing better than that feeling. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but there's pretty much nothing close to that feeling um, of happiness and just getting out there and running. So I want people to get into running, and the whole program is fully built. I mean, I'm jam packing that program into something that I feel that will help people run. Because when I look out there and look at the groups out on Facebook that I'm part of, I see a lot of injuries out there. I really do. And I think a lot of them can be prevented. And that's why this beginners program has everything. I mean, everything on things to work out for your form, things to do for exercises. It's a complete, full rounded running program because I feel that it's important that it's missing. And for those that are running cross country in high school and you're watching this, um, you know, these things I wish I knew back then, like foam rolling, for instance. I wish I knew foam rolling. Foam rolling has been a game changer, absolute game changer for me in my age today that I wish that I even knew back then. And through these videos, which I'm almost done the beginners program, I'm going to switch back to, and I'll be putting out a video. My goal is to put out a video a week to help people in general, not just beginners. Um, and that's going to start this week. I don't know what the best time is for people to watch it, but right now I think I'm going to be putting them out on Friday. But those programs or those topics are for everybody to advance their running. But in the beginners program, it's the full package. I mean, if you do that, you should be as close to injury free as possible. I can't prevent all injuries, and I can't say for sure that it will help everybody. Um, that's and this is the cool thing about running. Everybody's on a path to become whatever they want to be in running, and that path is running and or walk running. I do not dismiss walking, and I'll just do a quick tidbit on walking. Um, One of the things that I realized in 2021 was this: when I got, sorry, 2020. Maybe I got my years mixed up. I keep thinking I'm in 2020, 21. This is where I was saying at the beginning, I wish time would just slow down. I feel like it's flying right now. Um, So, what I learned was this. I think I just lost my track of mind, but I'll get it real quick. Um, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I apologize. I just lost my train of thought there. Um, what I realized was this. Walking. When I got injured, what was the difference between me and the Angelo I wanted to be? Where was I with that? I'm walking now because I'm injured, but am I really not a runner because I'm walking right now? Or even if I am the Angelo I wanted to be, let's say I did even hit the 6:30 pace. You know what? I bet you, and I'm going to butcher his name, and I apologize. I should probably know his name better. Kipchug, I believe, the guy who ran the sub 2 hour marathon. I'm sure for him, to me, like if he were to look at me and the pace that I run on my easy days, he'd probably think I was walking. So for me, I do not think walking is any better or any less than a runner or a jogger or anything like that. I think it's all part of the same journey. And wherever you are in your journey, whether you're a walker or runner, I put you in the same category because you know what? In order to run, you have to be able to walk. In order to run faster, you have to be able to run and at a certain pace. And in order to get faster and faster, for me, if you're a walker, you're you're in the same category as far as I'm concerned. Because if I'm injured, if you look at my RRP, I may be walking right with you. And as I found out with walking is actually not that bad. If you were to walk 1 mile and run 1 mile and clock your calories over 1 mile, you practically burn the same amount of calories. And I looked that up at my own, I should say, what I found for me, as an individual, when I walked versus run, when I crossed that 1 minute mile or that 1 mile mark, I had the same amount of calories burned. The only difference was that I could cover more ground running than I could walking. So, but as a runner, you're putting more pressure on your joints and everything. You're pounding your body against the pavement or trails, whereas walking, you're not doing that amount of damage. So for me, um, yeah, if you're a walker, I don't dismiss where you are on your journey. The question is how fast do you want to walk? How fast do you want to run? And that's where I come in. I help you on your journey to get you to that next step. But yeah, I forgot the overall theme where I was going with this because one thing you'll learn about me is during the videos, I'm scripted as much as I can. Um, I try to bring you the content, I try to bring you the enthusiasm. I try to edit things the best I can. I'm trying to upgrade everything as I possibly can, but I also want to remain me, which means that I'm going to show up as I am, which means this. I may say things the wrong way. My grammar will be bad. I will say a lot of ums, ands, things like that because I get lost in my own thoughts and I get so enthusiastic about what I'm doing that I lose thought. Um, but at the end of the day, my goal is going to be the same: get you to wherever you are, to where you want to be, whether you do it through the channel, whether you want to do it through coaching, whether you want to do it through other social media platforms. My goal is to, one, provide you with what you need to get to your next level, wherever that is. And finally, um, to create that community of runners that I'm calling journey runners. So I hope this video helps you understand where I am. Oh, and my goal is 1,000 runners. So right now, to get 1,000 people, to coach 1,000 people, and this means personal coaching, not necessarily all the things that I put out there. So personally coaching, my goal, well, I should say, for each platform that I'm on social media, I want 1,000 subscribers or followers because that's how many people I want to help. Um, but for personal coaching, I want to personally coach 1,000 people over the rest of my lifetime, which means that if I live to 80, and I'll let you do the math of how old I am, if I if I live to the ripe old age of 80 from now to service or help or to be part of the awesome running journey of 1,000 runners, I have to gain 25 new runners per year. So 25 new runners per year. Right now, I have 8 runners that I'm coaching, and man, is it fun. There are hard times and good times for sure uh, as people go through their journey. They have some highs and lows, but you know what? I can relate to you. I can relate to it because whether you're young and running cross country, I can coach you there because I've been there. And if anything, I can take you to that next level because one, I have the tools now that I wish I had then. So I can take that and help you in your cross country running. Where I am with my age, if you've done the math, you know how old I am. I'm a different person now than I was in my 20s um, and 30s. And before I know it, these years are flying by. I'm going to be in another decade of my life. And I'm sure as I go through, I will learn more things. But what I can tell you is that I found the fundamentals. I found what works, and it's very basic. And I think a lot of people miss it um, because they dress it up with all these different things. And that's okay because running can get monotonous, especially if you're training for long distances and you're training by yourself versus with groups and everything. And during COVID, that's what we've been facing. Um, I can honestly say that we can take the fundamentals, but I'm going to show you those fundamentals. I'm going to actually show you what exactly you're doing, why you're doing it, so that you're not just doing what I say. I want you to learn. I want you to understand why you're doing this because if you understand, you can take that to the next level. And when I say to you, that's okay. You had a bad day. You had a bad run. That's okay. Um, because I know that it's okay. I have the experience to know that it's okay. So we have the fundamentals. And I knew what it was like to run back in your 20s and compete at that level. I also know what it's like to go through that level of time period where you stop running for a long period of time and you want to get back into running. I know what it's like to have a family and try to fit in running. And that's another thing. A lot of people say you need to run 6 or 5 days or 7 days a week, twice. I've done double sessions, I've done it all. I've been put through the ringer, you could say. And it's not necessarily true. I'm actually coaching somebody who runs only 3 days a week because that's their lifestyle. And I coach people who don't want my actual running plan. They have another plan because there are many running plans out there. Um, and I work with them with those plans because they like that plan. And that's their plan. It's your journey. Their journey is that plan. I just help them adapt to understanding precisely what does that plan do. Yeah, you're running 5 miles, but what about those 5 miles is helping you get to your goal? What specifically is it trying to do? Or maybe it doesn't give you the specifics, and I can give you the specifics to make that training block, that training day, be that building block to that next level. And that's where I'm coming from. Whew, wow. I did not expect to talk that long. I didn't expect to talk about so much stuff about me and my philosophy and where we're going. But I guess the final thing I didn't leave off is if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, wherever you are, the journey is your journey. It's a good journey. We all start somewhere with running, and that usually starts with walking. And getting you from walking to walk running to running is the same journey for everybody. Some people just can get there faster. If you were to start in your 20s, you may be able to jump up faster. Technology these days, medical things that they discover, pretty soon a 90-year-old can probably just be as fast as a 20-year-old. It's just incredible what they're finding out these days. So I put no restrictions on where you are and where you are in your journey. So if you have any questions, please leave them and let them float right now. But I'm going to end my part of the conversation now by saying this. I'm glad if you're watching this and you made it even this far through it. I'm impressed. I don't know. Um, I hope it was entertaining, and I hope you got a lot of information of who I am as an individual runner and where I'm going with this social media and this journey of mine, um, to be in a journey with you. But in the end, what I want to do is create that community of runners, that I think that's the selfish part of me. That's the selfish part of me, is that I want to give in hopes that I build a community, because I miss that team, that camaraderie, that push, push, push. And it's, yes, I have social media, but having a specific group that really is dedicated to being there for each other, is really what I love. And it just makes running, takes it to that next level. But regardless of whether you want to be part of that community, regardless of whether you want to be personally coached by me, regardless of whether you're here today, gone tomorrow on my channel, I, one, appreciate that you've watched this video and given me the chance to speak who I am, what I'm doing, and if I may have the privilege of being alongside your journey to help you get to your running goals, I would really love to do that in any way, shape, or form. So, with that, I end that with, I hope you follow us and come to the community of the Journey Runners community. And if not, and if so, either way, I wish you a happy running. Oh, and don't forget, every Tuesday, 12:15, I will be going live on different subjects, 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. Um, and this is my longest session by far. So 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. I try to keep it within 30 minutes. Today, I just went off on a rant of being super, super exposed and expressive in my journey here in social media. But I hope to see you next time here live. And if not, that's okay. I hope to see you on my channel. And either way, I wish you happy running. And until next time, I will see you then.